Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine.
If you were political, if you have not pitched your tent with PDP, and there is Tinubu, there is Atiku, there is Obi, who would you go for?
I will pick Atiku. You will be shocked. I will pick Atiku. I told you I picked Atiku.
Why, sir?
I picked him in 20. Look, my knowledge of Nigeria is unassailable. My knowledge of Nigeria is deep. Nigeria today needs a man. Let me tell you where Atiku towers above everybody else. This is a man who has been a vice president. As managed, he was in charge of the economy of Nigeria. Okay? And Nigeria recorded fantastic results under the Obasanjo Atiku government. That for me is not an experience to be wasted. Number two, it is not in the character of Nigerian politicians to establish business that will survive, that would employ thousands of people. Atiku has done it. Atiku comes from that background of national politics. His temper, his temperament, his composure, his family life. When you look at all this combined, you will be so impressed that you have a political figure of that nature. I'm not surprised that he has reached the height he has reached. I'm not surprised that he's a global statesman. If you look at the respect he commands at home and abroad, look at after all this election brouhaha, he continues to act like a statesman, like a patriotic Nigerian. It is such a man that I would gladly support. I will not support any entitlement syndrome. Never, never. You have to tell me what you have done in your private life, what you have done in your public life, and that is what will earn my respect. And that's why I supported him and Peter Obi in 2019. It's unfortunate that both of them parted ways due to no fault of Atiku, due to no fault of his, but I'm also happy that Peter Obi has now tried and he has done extremely well for himself, for his family, for his political party, and so on, and for Nigeria. It's good, because without Peter Obi, nobody would have ever believed that it is possible to take on a Tinubu in Lagos. Without an Adeleke, Governor Ademola Nuruddin Jackson Adeleke, nobody would have known that it would be possible for anybody to defeat the Tinubu institution in Osun State. Without a Kwankwaso, nobody would have been able to know that it would be possible to take on a Governor Ganduje in Kano. Without Kwankwaso, it would have been impossible to take. So this election has thrown up some things, some challenges, and if we are able to go back to due process, Nigeria will be better for it.
The PDP, on two occasions, they have gone into a battle or fight, so to say, with a divided house. Do you think that the PDP can regain that power that it lost during Jonathan's time if it continues to fight this battle with a disunited house?
I told you that there is no house more divided than APC. In fact, we call APC the house of commotion. APC is not different from PDP house of commotion. I told you that what happened in PDP was just a storm. What happened in APC was a world war, a situation where the president of the country was bullied so much to the extent that when he voted, he was so scared he had to show who he voted for. I've never seen that kind of political party. Against the law of the land. In fact, that's one of the things that should disqualify everybody. A president voted and brought out and took picture and showed the whole world. This is who I voted for. That's how much he was scared of his own party. His own governors who used to grovel in front of him, the same governors were abusing him black and blue, and he was helpless. Is that a party? And tell me that a party that could not deliver on its promises in 8 years is the same party that Nigerians voted for. I mean, let's get serious for crying out loud. So PDP is intact. I saw Wike on a video yesterday boasting he's going to chase the Buccaneers or the carpetbagger or whatever he called them away from the party. And we'll all wait till after May 29, and then we will see if the party is owned by one man or owned by a collective. Look, for a party to stand, no party can afford a dictator. Even Buhari, that people used to label a dictator in the past, he had to calm down. He had fanatical supporters. None of the politicians we have today have that kind of fanatical supporters. He had fanatical supporters. Despite that, he had to calm down. He had to bring Rotimi Amechi from Rivers. He had to bring Bukola Saraki from Kwara. He had to bring Bola Tinubu from Lagos. That is what they call a party. A party is not a one-man affair. No matter how rich you are, you cannot buy a party. So there are still people, like I said, I will mind my business. It doesn't matter to me if some people in PDP are ready to hand over their party to whosoever they want. Good luck to them. But I, personally, for as long as I'm a member of the party, I'll be a law-abiding member of that party. But nobody like it can buy my soul.
Okay. So what is the way out now for Nigeria? How can we bring Nigeria back on the path of growth, prosperity, and
we have time, all this time that we are spending in the law court? If Professor Mahmoud Yakubu had carried the wire to say, okay, since people are already protesting, people are walking out of the collation center and all that, let's request for extension of time, even if it's just 2-3 days. Let's see how we can clean up and make this process more transparent and free and fair. It will save us all this headache. Do you know how much it's going to cost to hire almost 100 SAM? The different parties in court is going to run into billions. The money that we can use in employing our young ones who desperately need jobs, we are throwing all away into politics. It doesn't make sense. I wish Yakubu and his gang had a little bit more of conscience to say what we're going to do to our country is unfortunate, and we may not recover from it in a long time to come. Look at the damage to the image of our country globally. People are saying, can they go and read all the, I'm sure you've read the Economist, you've read Financial Times of London, you've read all our local commentators, everybody, all our best writers are reading, but I've not seen one who said that the election was free and fair. So what did we gain? By rushing to Golgotha, we gained nothing. We lost everything.
There are two phrases that you came up with, from your own fecund imagination. One, which everybody or most people have come to enjoy, is the spirit of Africa. We know where that one belongs. The other one is the owners of Nigeria. From what has been unfolding in our political space, it's beginning to look like the owners of Nigeria, they have lost their power. They no longer have control over how elections play out in Nigeria. How would you respond to that? Because some of the owners of Nigeria spoke at the end of the day. Nothing much came out from what they said and everything.
No, you are making a mistake, because again, a lot of us come on social media, we don't know our country. The owners of Nigeria, they are in charge. If they don't know the beginning, they know the end.
Okay.
Beginning. You will see that we all still go back to the source. You saw my boss with President Babangida only a few days ago. You saw him with General Absalami Abubakar a few days ago. They are all talking because no matter their varied interests, their uppermost interest is that Nigeria should remain one indivisible and peaceful country. Talk to the Sultan of Sokoto, talk to the Emir of Kano, talk to the Oni of Ife, there is something that unites them, it is that interest that Nigeria must survive. Even in our imperfection, nobody wants a war in Nigeria. I don't want a war. I will survive government or no government in Nigeria as long as we live in an atmosphere of. So that's what binds all of us, whether you are part of the ownership or you are not. Everywhere in the world, there are superpowers that control a nation. In America, in Russia, you have them. It's just that in Nigeria, we are hoping that we can follow a process. No matter how we say, oh, it's not perfect, but let's be seen to obey the same laws that we all created for our nation. So if we're not going to do that, then let's go back either to monarchy or to a one-party state where one man can wake up. Buhari should not have wasted all those billions on the election. He should have said, okay, I don't want my party to quit. Oh yeah, Tinubu, you are the next. You give it to him. When Tinubu finishes, he calls the next person. So that way, nobody will complain. You will know it's a dictatorship. But in a democracy where you expect a certain procedure, a process, and a rule of law, to be obeyed, and it is not being obeyed, it's not being sustained, it's not being nurtured, then you are playing with crisis.
Okay, but D, I'm going to be an Oliver Twist based on a request made by one of our followers here. Apparently, the person doesn't really understand the whole concept behind the owners of Nigeria.
Okay, the concept of the owners of Nigeria was first propounded by me between 1998 and 1999 when Chief Olufalaye testing against Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. I was supporting Chief Falaye, and I had suggested to him that we should pick a very cerebral northerner as his running mate. I told you I'm a scholar, so I have a weakness for intellectuals. So I wanted us to choose Dr. Rinwan Lukman, who was Secretary General at OPEC in Vienna, Austria. So, and Chief agreed with me that if I'm able to persuade him, that would be fantastic. So I volunteered to go, or at my own expense. I was barely 38 years old, and I traveled to Vienna to see Dr. Rinwan Lukman. And so when I got there, I told him my mission, and he started laughing. I said, why are you laughing? He said, because the owners of Nigeria have already decided who will be the president. So I asked him, I said, are we not going to have an election? He said, no, it's not by election. That long before the election is held, the owners would have picked the one candidate that they will back, and so be it. And so I asked him who were the owners of Nigeria, and he mentioned some of their names. Of course, they include President Ibrahim Babangida, President Olusegun Obasanjo. At that time, General Salami Abubakar was still on the scene, as our head of state. Of course, Lieutenant General Liu Goso, the best cook Nigeria ever produced. Everybody knows him to be very well respected globally, in terms of the intelligence community. So he mentioned a few others. There are different layers to them. You have the military institutions, they still control Nigeria till today. Of course, you have Lieutenant General Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma as a member, a very prominent member. That's a man who has also done very well, not just as a military officer, but also as a businessman. He's been able to conduct both his public and private lives very creditably. So he gave me those ones. Then you have the traditional institutions, the sultans, the emirs, the Oni, the Obiofonitas. So you have then you have the business class, of course, the Dangotes, the Adenugas, the Jim Ovias, the Tony Lumelus, so they are also there because they are business interests. Nothing must happen to that business interest. That's why you see all of them already going towards Tinubu. If it had been Atiku, you will see them with Atiku. If it is Obi, you will see them with Obi, because nothing must go wrong with them. So these are the owners of Nigeria. You and I, of course, we are co-owners of Nigeria, but my mom used to tell me, if you are a featherweight, don't say you are heavyweight. So that's the way it is. So that was the origin of the term owners of Nigeria.